Look, the one bit of praise I'm going to proffer to Anthony Albanese for this campaign is the fact he's turned up to 4 debates. Oppositions always want debates, voters deserve them, but no other PM has agreed to 4 across 4 different networks, including in the last week of the campaign. So well done, Albo, that's good for democracy. All up though, the Prime Minister has lost these debates. Prime Ministers usually do. But Peter Dutton really needed to knock him right off his perch, and he's never really quite done that. But when it comes to media coverage of the campaign, Dutton has lashed out at those in the media he believes don't give the coalition a fair hearing.
I have no doubt in my mind that we can win this election. Forget about what you're being told by the ABC and the Guardian and the other hate media. Forget about that.
Well, I'd hardly disagree with that assessment, would I? And as if to prove his point, have a listen to how the ABC characterised those comments this morning.
It certainly echoes language that is used by Donald Trump in the US, and it certainly risks having that kind of reflection from Peter Dutton.
How about that? The term hate media is Trumpian. So the ABC uses Dutton's justifiable complaint about ABC bias to show more bias against Dutton. The term hate media is not Trumpian at all. It was actually first used by one of the ABC's great heroes, the former Greens leader, Bob Brown.
I'm just wondering why the hate media, it's got a negative front page from top to bottom today, can't be more responsible.
Yeah, that was almost a decade ago, a decade and a half ago actually, and it caused a big stir at the time. And the Green Left have used that term ever since. They've used it against News Corp and others. And I riffed off this at the time, labelling the Green Left media, like the ABC and the old Fairfax newspapers, the love media in return, a term that I've used ever since, as many of you will know. So Dutton's sentiment there was absolutely right, but he used the wrong term. He should have called his critics the love media. Anyway, the ABC remain hard at it this campaign, doing all they can to undermine the coalition. How about this news report shown nationally over the weekend?
As the campaign enters its final days, the opposition leader has yet to stage an event at one of the 7 proposed sites for his party's flagship nuclear power policy. Nearly half of all respondents to the ABC's Vote Compass say they either strongly or somewhat disagreed with the proposal.
Yeah, that was an introduction straight from Labor's talking points. It left me wondering why the ABC hasn't asked Anthony Albanese and Chris Bowen why they haven't turned up at places like this, where bushland is being destroyed to clear the way for the construction of wind farms and transmission lines. Or why haven't they visited the farmlands of Victoria and New South Wales, where local communities are up in arms over transmission line projects? Or why haven't they turned up at coastal communities where locals are opposed to offshore wind projects? Such questions wouldn't occur to the ABC. It's apparently only interested in the anti-nuclear barbs from Labor against the coalition.
A coal-fired power station in Port Augusta reduced to rubble. 8 years later, this could, under a coalition plan, become a new site of energy generation, but this time nuclear. It's an issue that's dividing the outback town.
Since the old coal-fired power station closed, there have been multiple project proposals put forward, but only a few wind and solar projects have come to fruition.
Yeah, only a few have come to fruition, hey. Why not mention some of those that have failed? Like the $600 million green hydrogen plant scrapped earlier this year just down the road in Whyalla. Or what about the $650 million solar thermal plant announced with great fanfare but scrapped just outside Port Augusta? And what about all those proposals for pumped hydro at Port Augusta? What happened to them? The ABC doesn't focus on this endless stream of expensive renewable failures. Instead, it pretends that nuclear, the only proven emissions-free baseload power source that works all around the world, would be a problem here in Australia. That's your ABC. I mean, that's their ABC for you. And how did they kick off their news coverage for the final week of the campaign? Well, they claimed to be scrutinising both leaders.
What's it like when you're on Anthony Albanese's bad side?
It's not great. Peter Dutton cannot be trusted. He's a wrecker.
The promises.
It is not a policy, it's a fantasy.
The playbook.
He's a weak career politician.
Senior public servants will tell you he just doesn't want to do anything.
I think it's been a rolling show.
The true colours of the next Prime Minister.
It's time for the Albaneses and Duttons to either listen carefully or move on.
They just want someone to it.
That's the promo for a program tonight featuring a long lineup of left and left Liberal interviews. But what story did they dig out to promote that program all day on their news programs? It was a rather pathetic hit, on Dutton of course, relating to a delayed disclosure rectified at the time a decade ago.
The federal opposition leader Peter Dutton is facing questions over failing to declare an interest in a family trust that operated a lucrative childcare business. Rory Callanan reports.
A Four Corners investigation has found Mr Dutton failed to declare his beneficiary interest in a family trust while it was involved in childcare businesses from 2014 to 2016.
Incredible stuff, really, in the last week of the campaign. I mean, where is the ABC's interrogation of the Prime Minister's failure to declare a Qantas Chairman's Club membership organised for his son? And if they want to go back a decade, why not mention Albo's failure to declare upgrades for travel with his then wife when he was a minister? Where was the ABC's interrogation of the TLMP Allegra Spender's failure to declare 7 financial entities this year? I could go on. That this is how a national broadcaster behaves during an election campaign is extraordinary. But then have a look at this from a current ABC News presenter.
The government has just committed to spending $368 billion on some nuclear submarines that may or may not arrive. The ABC, in that context, is peanuts.
Or there's this from one of their former big names.
After 60 years in journalism, I can't think of a more confusing time to know who to trust in the media, when truth has become such a corrupted commodity. We need a strong, independent ABC that's fearless in presenting the facts we need to know, not one that's intimidated by politicians or special interest groups. We are part of what has given the ABC its strength and its courage, and at this election, we need to make our voice count for the ABC.
Yeah, the ABC mob, past and present, openly campaign for more money. They openly campaign against those who would apply some financial stringency to the ABC, yet they pretend that they're all adhering to their charter and being objective. Pull the other one. I wonder if anyone will ever fix this massive anti-democratic distortion of political debate in this country.